Hey guys, I'm just saying hi. It's in the middle of the night. I might do a live. I wanted to say quickly, I was going to tell the story about my view of what happened in the last recent downfall of my situationship with Sir Lionel Roy, where he was making videos of me using AI, and I got upset because I thought they made me look old, and I'm hung up about looking old. And, every wrinkle, I'm always trying to get rid of these, and these cartoon images of me made me look like I had two really deep lines here, and just like extra lines, and I was feeling really hung up about getting older, which has I feel like has really just like come down on me hard in the last few months extra. And I feel like I've aged 30 years in a couple months, even though it's been slower than that. I just am under my own delusion about how old I look. I'm in a little bit of shadow right now, so I can kind of hide things. But anyway, so I got upset about that. He took offense to me saying, "Would you just stop? Would you just stop?" You know, and it all went downhill, I guess, from there. But then I watched his Mother's Day live, which I really enjoyed, and he did not diss me. And he said, people who were trying to diss me in the chat, he said, no grannies are going to be harmed on this day, which I appreciated. And I thought the way he handled it was really nice, and made me feel more warm-hearted toward him, because he can really rip me a new arsehole, as they say. And so then he did that live, and I was like, "Aw, you know." And then that video that he did of us wearing red velvet and him wearing that dashing outfit, looking all handsome, and I'm wearing this red and gold velvet outfit, which I love. And he does this video with this really, really, really pretty song, and I'm like, "Oh." And I knew he might take it down in one of his bipolar, manic, depressive, angry episodes. So I was like, I got to make sure I take a screenshot of that video of the images that I like, and before he takes it down. But I thought, oh, he's going to keep it up. I'll do it in the morning. So then the morning shows up, and it's gone. It's all, I get this nasty email out of the blue. So then I go to sleep that night thinking positive thoughts about him, and like doing my little romantic girl fantasies of he and I dressed in those outfits at this fancy Met Gala in some castle somewhere, and we're doing the waltz, right? Because those outfits are inviting of a waltz. So I'm picturing, what would it be like, to have a video, an AI rendering of us dancing. Like, is that something I can make, or like, is that something that can happen with Grok or whatever? And I was fantasizing about he and I actually dancing a waltz at a fancy party. And I made me smile, and I felt happy, and I went to sleep like, thinking these happy thoughts, which he would hate. He would hate that I thought that he would hate that I had a romantic, heterosexual fantasy about him. He would hate that, right? Because he hates that. He doesn't like girls. He likes straight married men, right? That's his fantasy. So I'm the opposite of that. And but I went to sleep thinking fantasy, because I'm a romantic at heart. That's why I've called myself a romanceaholic and a loveaholic. Because back in the day, before my heart got ripped to shreds when my mother died and my best friend died and my siblings all went wackadoo on me, I was destroyed. And I've been rebuilding a new version of myself since my old self was completely destroyed in 2020. And so, I wake up in the morning looking forward to like a positive, or I don't know what, and I open an email. There's an email from him, Lionel, and he rips me to shreds. He writes the most nasty, mean, condescending, rotten things, and I can find the email and read it to you and let you know how horrible it was. Really bad. In fact, every email he wrote me yesterday, which is now yesterday, because it's 2:30 in the morning, 4:48, boom. Everything was the nastiest comment you could ever find. And this is a pattern with he and I. Whenever I start to feel like, oh, he's going to be nicer to me now, or there's a good energy between us or something like that. He every time out of the blue, he'll write the snottiest, meanest, rudest, most horrible, insulting, degrading comment he could think of the next day, just to ruin it, because that's what he does and that's who he is. And when he did that, I was like, oh my God, I didn't feel like upset as I normally would have. So I've improved on dealing with rejection and negativity and the rotten things that I get from that completely insane person called Joffrey, who is definitely not a male. And who is one of the worst trolls. But anyway, that's another topic. Joffrey shouting you out. You're one of the worst trolls. You can put that on your little channel there that's obsessed with berating and bashing me. It's very Norman-esque, but I'm pretty sure it's spleen. It's the spleen doing that. I don't know, but it's very Norman-esque. You know what I mean by Norman-esque? So the In Club knows. Anyway, so then I was like, I'm so much more chill. I have chilled out so much from integrating my emotions from dealing with all these trolls and other negativity. So there was something he said that did make me cry. I felt a cry coming up. I was like, wow, I'm doing really well. I'm not getting upset. All these rotten things he's saying to me, I'm doing really well, because it's such a love-hate relationship with him, and both ways. And then he said one thing to me. Oh, he said, oh, I put Sippy in there. Oops, I didn't mean to say her name, but he goes, I put her in there in that video with me and him at the Met Gala in the red velvet. And he goes, he didn't say knock you down a few pegs. He said something like that. Something like to knock you down a few pegs. I'm already knocked. It's like, are you serious? He's like, I'm already starting low. And if he brings me up at all, he's got to knock me lower. This is who he is. He's a nasty guy. And he likes to knock down people because he's a mean-spirited man. And I did feel sad. And then I was like, it went by. I didn't need to actually cry. He loves to make girls cry. He's a very mean person. At times. And it hurts. And I could feel that. I can feel that. So, being loved by someone is it love? I don't even think it's love. Being loved by someone who is abusing you all the time, half the time or more than half the time. He's abused me probably 80% of the time, 82% of the time. And has been nice to me 18% or less. But he was nice to me, nicer to me. And he wasn't, he wasn't supporting all the negativity in the chat as usual. He was defending the mothers on Mother's Day, and I was touched by that. So I am drawn to abusive people because I'm trauma bonded to abusive. I grew up with it, a lot of abusiveness, very intelligent abusiveness, and I'm used to it. It's not healthy, but it is what I'm used to. And so that's my screwed up thing to deal with. But anyway, so then he ripped me to shreds a bunch of times. And then he said, we were talking about it. And I said something like, if we say we're broken up, which we break up, we're always broken up, right? We're always breaking up as if we're ever back together. I don't know. Every now and then we have a live stream where we just talk like normal people. It happens once every blue moon. I don't know. It's very weird. I keep saying I don't know. I don't know. I guess I just don't know. When you don't know something, my brother Bobby used to say to me, when you don't know something and you feel like you just don't know anything, it's like a good place to start. It's sort of like he used to say like that's a good place to be in a way where, I don't know why he said that actually, but maybe it was just sort of like, it's a place where you can then go from there. It's not like all is lost. It's like I'm starting at flatline and I'm going to build from there. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know anything other than I just wanted to tell my version And then, okay, so then he starts writing me all this nasty, nasty stuff because he's trying to shove me away. And I said, well, can you please just send me, and we break up and end our situationship constantly, all the time. And I said, could you just send me that video one more time? And he did. So I was able to make my own copy of it, which I played around with. And then I took screenshots, and I love some of the images. And I really love the one of him because he looks very handsome, very dashing. And I love the outfit. I love everything about the image of him. And I like the ones of me pretty much, except for the ones with the crocodiles. I am not. I've got reptilian genetics like we all do, the reptilian brain in the back of our head, and mammal on top, which is part of how they built this construct that we're dealing with now, which is very, very challenging because it's all screwed up. And we're made of both reptilian DNA and mammal DNA and other alien DNA. So we're like processing a lot of conflicting genetics within our own human body, this avatar, which makes our life full of internal pain. It's part of the reason why we hate ourselves, our negative self-talk. We want to abuse ourselves because reptilians want to abuse and eat mammals. So we're like, we have internal conflict naturally built in with the different genetics. And it's not easy. It's very hard to understand this. And, a lot of people go on medication, and sometimes that can be helpful to people. I've never been on the medication path other than using cannabis to help me relieve depression and anxiety. But there's a lot of, Wellbutrin, and there's other medications that are maybe, good at times or for periods of time. I don't know. I'm coming out of this deep depression that I had over the winter, and I'm doing a lot better now that it's taking a time, but I can feel by the end of summer, I feel fine. I'm like, I'm fine. No depression here. And so, it's a seasonal thing for me, the really deep depression. And I also think, it's situational to a degree as well. And these are things that I work on, my own journey. We all work on our own journey, But I just wanted to say that, okay, so then we had more emails back and forth, and he was like, I wanted to knock you down a few pegs. Knock me down, push me down, shove me, something like that. He's a very mean guy. He doesn't want anybody to be happy. He wants to bring everybody down. And then he'll bring you up, bring you back down, bring you back up, and it's a really weird situation. I have built walls within myself against this man who has hurt me for years and years and years, very deeply. But I've also had a perspective on it to some degree, but then he draws me in. It's tough. I can feel emotions around it. And then there's this person, he calls me a liar. So he wants to ruin the relationship by calling me a liar about something that's provable. I tell him that I was served a cease and desist, or I was attempted to be served. He doesn't believe me. And then he asks the person who served me if he served me, because I said, ask her. And she said she did. And he still doesn't believe it. So you're dealing with, that's madness. Or it's a little bitch. Or the same thing. And it's just like, if you're just going to take an actual fact and say, I don't believe you, just to be a little bitch, he just basically, he's trying to tell me and the world that this is a joke, that I mean nothing. He might be obsessed with me, but not like he really cares. And maybe he cares because sometimes he finds me entertaining. But in real life, I'm just something for him to pick on. I'm just a thing. I'm not a human being, not a real person. I think he just sees me. Sometimes he sees me as a human being. But I think deep down, he's a street kid. He's a scrapper. He wants his druggies and his feel good, and he's just a naughty boy. And but he's got enough intelligence. And on my new timelines, I did shift timelines in the last few like I've shifted twice. So I was over here and I've made 2 shifts away from where I was, and I'm in a much better, more positive place. And so I'm dealing with rejection even better. It almost feels like it's over there, like, oh, that was a part of my life that was away, or that's when I was in a darker place, or I'm just in a different frequency. And so I'm dealing with it a lot better. And I feel like I'm dealing with some other things that came up that were kind of like would have normally been shocking. And I feel like I handled them in a way more calm way. And that's because I'm doing a lot better as far as reacting. Like the whole trauma with my mom, the grief, that opened up emotions, I think, from like every past life I've ever had. And I was moving every emotion that I'd been holding in this life, which is a lot of emotions that I've held in this life and then like other lives. So I've just been doing nothing but bawling my eyes out and crying my eyes out for the last 5 years. And I mean flipping out privately. I don't put that out there. I'll cry sometimes on camera if it comes up, but you don't see my real deep dark stuff. And you don't see the intense pain. Do these match? It almost matches. I like these nails. It doesn't match my ring, but I did find my ring was lost. They made me take off my ring at the salon, and I put it in my bra because I wasn't wearing anything with pockets. And then I totally spaced out and forgot about it and did the mani and did the pedi. And then I never thought about my ring again. And they dip your hands in wax. And then I just thought when in that later on that night we were watching this movie about Sally Field was in it, and there was this octopus in it, and it was a beautifully done movie. My son called me in the middle of it, so I didn't get to watch the whole thing, and we went and had a nice Mother's Day talk, and that was nice. But anyway, so there was this scene with a ring, and I was like, the ring reminded me of my ring, and I thought, oh my God, I looked down, the ring is gone, and I thought, oh my God, I lost my ring, and we were going to go back to the salon in the morning and get the ring, but then it was found the next day in the kitchen by my daughter, who always finds things for me, so I found the ring, and thank God I found it, because this ring protected me from the law, and they're probably going to target my ring now. That's what happens. But when I lost it, that's when I got served. When it wasn't on my hand, I got served. And then I found it. I thought, wow, now I'm not protected by my ring with the law, which I got this ring when I was in that lawsuit with my ex and his wife, his second wife at the time. They're not married anymore. And because they were coming at me hard. The woman who's coming after me now, she's one of, this has happened before with people that just want to bring me down. And it's really too bad that that's her agenda, because that's not a good-hearted agenda to just go attack somebody and pretend that they're hurting you when they're just minding their own business and doing all this legal shit because you're crazy inside. Because that is not how humans are supposed to be to each other, especially an adult grown-ass woman who's lived life is not supposed to run around attacking other people, from my book. That's not what I think they should be doing. All right, my battery's low. I just got this message, so I better end this. But thanks for watching. I'll be back with more. I do believe that if you integrate your life properly, you should be able to offer. It's not easy when you're knocked down to have something else left to give. That's a hard place. And that's kind of been where I'm at. It's hard for me to have anything extra from what I can do online, because the life's been sucked out of me. So to get anything extra takes time. Just to fill up, to take care of myself has been a challenge in the last 5 years. So doing the best I can, but thanks for being there for me, guys. I try to be there for you best I can, just to give you something uplifting when my voice is in an uplifting frequency, and to share what knowledge I've come across, which I think is good knowledge about earthing and healing and self-healing in your own human body. It's Linda Ronstadt. All right, I love you. I'm going to wait for 48. Big kiss, guys.